Welcome to the realm of Millenia. I am your host, the Millennium Mailman, here today. And be ye entity of any of the coils, be ye man, woman, child, spirit, creature, demon, native, migrator, or invader, I do welcome you, your Millennium Mailman host, today into the realm. And I will be world building for you long after you've begun to acclimate and fit in. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your wacky hot take hump day. All right. So the week's hot take is that Spider-Man is the most relatable, uh, well-known superhero, but, uh, Batman is definitely the most likable, well-known superhero, right? On Monday, mild Monday, I shared with you effectively the bits and pieces of both their backstories. Spider-Man, bitten by the radioactive spider, got his powers and tripped over constantly. Batman, he lost his parents, and he's now living this life of vigilantism, and the only person in his life is his butler, because everyone else got pushed away, and now every day of his life is constantly trying to push the fear of his onto people, into forcing them to be better or pushing them to get justice, be it through prison or putting them into Arkham Asylum to seek help, where they'll be forced to get the help they quote unquote need, really, right? So it's either prison or to the prison institution psych ward, right? It's either to the psych wards or the prisons with all of you who do bad things and crime. It's one of the two. Everything else in between is unacceptable and never tolerated or allowed. In Batman's universe, Vice, Spider-Man, he's going about his life getting tripped up by Murphy's Law, and he's constantly just going through it, being put through the ringer, really. And Spider-Man, he's giving mercy any day, every day, because he has the reputation of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's likable, right? Where Spider-Man is relatable because he's seeking out that admiration and the concept of being likable. He's relatable, and because of many people each and every day are making the decision to be likable, right? But what makes Batman more likable as a character than Spider-Man is the fact that Batman doesn't make decisions on, be it moral, ethically, or definitively, on what would allow him to maintain or keep being liked. Batman exclusively makes the hard decision of what is the right decision to make. I don't care about whether this maintains my reputation, keeps me being liked or accepted by anyone. What is the right choice, and what is the best, the backup plans, and this and that, because he's pragmatic. He doesn't put his faith and trust in much. There are times when he will put his faith and trust into other people and other things because he needs to, but he's not going to make that his de facto first choice in any situation, because to him it's about doing what is right before doing what allows him to continue being liked, right? So that sense of duty and responsibility in actions and taking on other burdens, and the burdens of reputation on top of everything he is doing and what he's doing it for, rather than trying to minimize, for lack of a better word, I'm going to stick with minimize, instead of trying to minimize the stains upon his reputation for the sake of continuing being this altruistic, accepted figure. Spider-Man, time and time again, despite all these trials and tribulations and stresses being put on him through life because of Murphy's Law, anything that can happen, be it good or bad, mainly bad, is bound to happen and will happen to you, right? Where Spider-Man living the life of Murphy's Law, where bad things happen, villains popping up any and every day, and he's making sacrifices in his relationships and his finances and his situations for the greater good, right? But even despite the greater good, he's always going to pull his punches for the sake of his own reputation and maintaining the figure that he is trying to display and be responsible to. He never wants to lose that image. Vice Batman, he'll drop that at the drop of the dime. The only image he's caring for is the fact that he's not intentionally going out here and killing people, and that he's refusing to use guns, because the guns are what took his parents away, so he personally will never use gun. He's not against violence, mind you. No. Because every night he goes out and he beats the brakes off anyone and everyone breaking law, breaking the rules and committing evil and corruption. Everyone doing that, I am beating the brakes off them in a bulletproof outfit, okay? I'm decked out head to toe, from boot to cowl, in bulletproof gear, because I am so against guns. I'm against every one of you who use it. I'm against it entirely. I will not use guns, and I will not intentionally kill people, but I am going to absolutely desecrate and beat the brakes off you to the full extent of my fist. Not the law, of my fist, and then I will hand you over to the law. Me handing you to the law is your greatest mercy here, but I'm going to beat the brakes off you until you get this concept drilled in your head that you will be held accountable for your actions and deeds. I'm sure I get held accountable for my actions and deeds every day that there's a new mutant, a new supervillain with greater powers or technology being used against me, and I gotta use my brain and a higher capacity than I ever did before because of it, right? So he takes on more and more burden every day, rather not every day, every night, and he drags it on through the day and does it all again tomorrow, right? And his backing is his old, reliable, loyal butler, who happens to be a well-decorated military veteran with field medic experience and stitching him up on the daily, right? Alfred Pennyworth gets his money worth. Bruce Wayne, the Batman, sure does, right? And that makes him a more likable character than Spider-Man. But getting into the plot points here of what really cements this hot take on the devil's advocate perspective is that, again, Spider-Man is basically the model and mold of an average man who gets beat up and beat down punch by life, and he's pulling his punches because he can always do bad, he can do worse, but he's making that decision to just do what he should and not do anything more. He's making the conscious decision in every battle, between every trial and tribulation, to not do too much, just do something modest, and try to never be excessive in his judgment, because he doesn't want to be judge, jury, executioner. He never wants to be judge, jury, and executioner. He wants to minimize his placement in any of those roles He's just trying to be that person to get the ball rolling so that things get done eventually. And that really speaks to a lot of people because not really a lot of people necessarily want to be the judge, jury, and executioner all the time. A lot of people just want to live their life and be them. So they relate to Spider-Man in that he's not trying to be all of those things, but he's not going to hesitate to be any one of those things, especially an executioner, to stop you from doing what you're doing and affecting others if he has to. If he has to, he will absolutely will step in like a good friendly neighbor. Like a good neighbor, Spider-Man's here, right? He's not gonna ever hesitate to hop in and help you out. Like a good neighbor, right? But he gets beat down like anyone else would, like an average person, and he's pulling his punches because despite all the bad things he can do for self-gain, or just to be excessive and expect it to stop and stifle any evil and corruption that might happen in the future, he's never going to do that because he's allowing other people to make these choices, right? He's going to allow you to make these choices time and time again, and he'll stop you over and over again because that is the average person mindset that makes him relatable. I don't want to be all these things all the time. I just want to step in and help and get my admiration for being there and always being available to help. That's Spider-Man. While Batman, on the other hand, Batman is a whole validation of the whole capitalist lifestyle mindset of working, right? Because in every battle, Batman, you'll hardly ever, I want to say never, but I can't say that. Hardly ever will you see Batman pulling a single punch unless it's a feint to hit you with a mollywhopper, right? If he's pulling a punch here, it's because he's trying to transfer that potential energy into kinetic energy contact with your face, right? If this fist is light, it's because this one's coming at you heavy, right? Batman's pulling no punches when he gets into any of these fights because he's trying his hardest in any and everything he's doing. He's putting out as much effort as he possibly can at all times. He's not a slacker or a slouch. Batman is really that opportunistic power, and he's really representing the whole power of money because he has no power. He's a normal human being, but he's a second generation rich man. Got that family inheritance, got the company, he's got the money, and money moves, money talks. So he's really a display at what can be done when you have money, and that money can actually be used as power, right? He's not necessarily a Tony Stark in that he's the smartest person in the world. No, he knows his place and he knows other people are smart in the building of technology. He's just that person like, hey, I need this. Whoever can get this for me, I will give you whatever money you think is acceptable, or I'll spend money to trade whatever you want and help you get whatever it is you want, right? He's the power. He really validates that aspect of capitalism where money talks, and people who can do that walk and know how to manipulate and use it properly get what you want in life. And here, at least in the Western society of the great Americas, right? He especially validates that day-to-day life of why people work and grind so hard for money, for status, and just relative authority power. Because